All right, sis. If you're here on YouTube, it's because you probably saw the short version on YouTube Shorts, or maybe you saw it on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. My name is Elisha D. Here is the story about how I was about to leave my man, but we got back together. Hey, friend. The video you're about to watch talks about my personal experience in my relationship and what worked for me and my husband. I am in no way giving you relationship advice through this video. Should you have questions, concerns, or maybe even things you want to explore when it comes to mental health, therapy, relationships, please feel free to contact me in my bio. We can book a free consultation about how we can work together, whether that be through coaching or whether that be through therapy, and we can create a relationship that way. However, my story is not your story. I hope you enjoy, and I hope that you are blessed by what you're about to see. It is truly a testament of what God has done for me and mine. Enjoy. So, y'all, I was on the internet talking heavily and openly and very transparent about how I just did not want to be with my husband anymore. And it wasn't a thing of like, oh, I just want to be with somebody else, or oh, I just don't want to be married anymore. Y'all, it was truly a difficult time in my life. When I say truly difficult, I mean difficult to the point that I felt like there was no hope. And I think that that's important without putting all of me and my husband's business out, is that I had arrived to a place in my marriage that I felt like we're going to do more damage by staying together than being apart. And I know on the outside looking in, people were like, oh, it's not that bad because my husband did not cause physical harm to me. He did not cheat on me. He did not mistreat me. And I think to the naked eye, it feels like, so what are you leaving for? But there were so many other factors going on. And I will withhold some of those things out of respect for my husband and I's marriage. But the big thing that I think we both were experiencing were different forms of abandonment and neglect in the marriage. And that can look very complex depending on who you are, how you experience those things, how you experience love, how you experience rejection, how you experience closeness or distance. All those things come into play. So I will give y'all a timeline of how this worked out. So on March 16th, I had a girlfriend. Shout out to you, Shamaya. If you see this, I really appreciate you. She randomly sent me this video on March 16th. And this video was a sermon by Bishop S.Y. Younger, and was talking about how God is healing you even when you're hurting. And this was so good for me because I truly was in a place where I was hurting so terribly, y'all. And I was just like, what's the point of this season of my life? It is ghetto. I don't like it. And, you know, at the end of that sermon, I decided, I was like, you know what? I've been living kind of ghetto. I've been living kind of ratchet. I'm going to put my life back in alignment with yours, Lord. Like, I'm going to lock in with you, me and you. Like, I'm going to start fresh. I'm surrendering my heart, my mind, my body, my soul to you right in my shower. That was the prayer. That was on March 16th. On March 18th, I got the urge to pray for my marriage.
Excuse me.
And I said, now, Jesus, you know we just got back together. And I'm not even trying to play you or nothing, but let's be so for real. Read the room. So I struggle with that. So my exact prayer, I will actually put a screenshot up of my actual prayer journal. My exact prayer was, God, I'm done with this marriage. But if you're not, I need you to show me in 7 days what you want me to do. My good girlfriend Whitley reached out to me that evening. I wrote that prayer like maybe 9 or 10 o'clock that morning. I was at work. I pulled out my prayer journal and I wrote it out. And I didn't even know why I was writing it out. I mean, I do now, but I didn't know why I was writing it out. And she texted me that night and was like, hey, girl, are you free? Let's chat tomorrow. All right, cool. So Whitley hits me up and she's like, girl, listen, I know you're done, but like the Holy Spirit put it on me and my husband's heart to gift you and your husband a ticket to our church's marriage encounter. Wow. I was like, excuse me? Because even though I said, God, I'm done, I thought he was finna be done because I was done, because like that was the plan. But no. So I was like, all right, cool. I was open to it because it's also important to know that I was very much still in the place of like, I'm not the reason why we're getting divorced. Like, I'm not wrong. This is not me, right? So he, you know, I was blaming him. And so I was like, there's no way he's going to go for this. Like, he's not going to. So I called him up or whatever. He's at work. I was like, hey, just throwing this out there. Without hesitation, this man was like, yeah, let's go. And I was like, why don't you take some time to think about it? And he was like, I don't need no time to think. I mean, we have nothing to lose. We're already headed for divorce. And I was like, I'll be a monkey's uncle. I'll be a monkey's uncle. I could not believe that he was going to go for it. So anyway, we decided that we're going to go to the marriage encounter. Leading up to the marriage encounter, they give you different activities to do that cause you to have to spend time with your spouse, because most of the people going are probably not headed for divorce. Meanwhile, this man is essentially a stranger to me. I'm a stranger to him. And now we're having to do these things such as take a love language quiz. We had to go on a date. We had to build a vessel together. We had to do so much together. And y'all, it was so weird at first. But honestly, in that process, I felt a shift in my heart. There was this softness that I had for my husband again, and not in like a romantic kissy way, but in a just like, I don't dislike you. So, okay, like, I was in that place. So I thought that was pretty good. As we're going to the marriage encounter, my oldest daughter, who was 14, she was very much like, listen, I love you. I love him. I don't love y'all in this relationship. She was very much not for it. And so that really weighed on me, because as a mom, specifically a mom of girls, I never want my children to feel like I'm choosing a man over them, or I just got to be with a man type of thing. I never want to lead with that narrative with my children. But I also know for a fact that God had me on a journey, and I could not explain that to my daughter other than, this does not make sense to me. I am done with this marriage. I was adamant, even on the way to the retreat, that I was not taking this man back. Child, we get to the retreat, the encounter. The best way that I can describe it to y'all is that, yes, I learned about things concerning my marriage. I learned about things with being a wife. But the thing that stuck out with me the most was the experience that I had with Christ. I literally felt like I sat in a room with Jesus for 2 days. And I saw me. I healed, like he healed me. I shifted. And the same thing happened for my husband. I feel like he literally planted us there. Like, I could not stop crying. The atmosphere was so sweet, y'all. I cannot explain it. There was like this supernatural shifting within myself, and little did I know what was happening within my husband. So by the time we left Friday, I was like, maybe this is probably salvageable. We actually probably can work through this. Like, I started seeing things from a different lens. And so we decided, we had some really hard conversations that won't make the internet. But we decided, like, if we can salvage our relationship. So we go back to the encounter on Saturday. We're having a great time. That afternoon, we go on lunch break. I'm like, hey, do you think that we should maybe visit this church tomorrow? I was just really pulled to this church. He was like, I don't want to be fake with God. Like, I think this is cool and everything, but I still like to blah, 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 blah. I don't want to be fake with God. I ain't trying to play in his face. Cool. I get it. I respect it. Now, that's not what I was thinking. I wanted to get this man a whole, like, you need to, I really wanted to run him down about it. But I ended up being like, you know what, God? This your kid. Get your kids. Get your kids. That's really where I landed. And in my head, I was like, God, he's yours. And so I just said to my husband, I was like, okay, I understand. Anyway, we go back. He goes with the men. I go with the women. The women were asking me, like, what are your concerns? I was like, I think that unless I truly give my life to God and my husband truly gives his life to God, unfortunately, we're going to be right back in the same place. Because from what I have experienced, I don't see how we can navigate this space without God. And that is just my personal experience. I think because we have run this marriage in the ground, trying to do it Vernon's way and Elisha's way. So, anyway, we go back into the session or whatever, and the pastor's like, we're sorry we ran over time. Our brother Vernon gave his life to the Lord. And in true lady fashion, I looked around.
Excuse me.
Because certainly there's another Vernon here, and not my husband. But it was my husband. And y'all, I sobbed because I just knew, the Bible says that when we come to Christ, we become a new creature. I just knew I was getting a brand new husband. And I have gotten just that. So this happened on the weekend of March 28th. I was giving y'all a timeline. We renewed our vows on March 28th. And since then, y'all, it's been a blessing. It's been so beautiful. Now, as it pertains to my daughter, she was a tough nut to crack. As a matter of fact, I'm being honest, I had some loved ones who were kind of feeling like, no, excuse me, and that's fair. That's fair. They were on this journey with us, and while we didn't owe them an explanation, we did give them one, and we just asked that they trust the process. That next day, we did visit that church, and I invited my daughters to go with us, and my oldest was like, no. And I wanted to kind of be like, girl, in my house, you're going to do what I said, but I didn't do that to my baby. Instead, I went to church and I prayed, and I asked God, I was like, God, just soften her heart. Help her to see that I'm being obedient to you. And the most important thing in this for me was that regardless of whether my daughter understood or not, I was going to be obedient to what God told me to do, because I knew that should I trust God, that she would understand eventually and it will work out. So I'm going to put the screenshot of what she said in that message while I was in church. And I just couldn't help but thank God. Like, it was literally a supernatural, swift shifting in my family. Like, y'all, when I say things have happened so quickly in the last month for me and my husband and my children, I cannot explain enough of how truly restored my family has been in the last month. And the main takeaway that I would have for this testimony is that I stand by everything that I said. I'm going to keep that content up because that was my truth for what time and what place that I was in during that time. I was leaving my relationship. I was separated. I was discovering what that life was going to be like, because I truly thought that was my truth. But beyond what I had planned for myself, the thing that I feel like has truly been a blessing to me is that I continue to keep my heart and my mind open to what God wanted for me. And I think that that's why I'm okay. And I have so much courage and hope that even the rough times, I'm going to be okay. So I'm not telling you to stay in your marriage. I'm not telling you to leave your marriage. What I am saying is, whatever you are doing, establish a relationship with God and get to know him for yourself. If you do not know who God is, I would strongly urge you to begin to just have a conversation like I am on this YouTube channel with God. Ask him to show you who he is. Ask him to, like God is all around us, like truly. And I'm not a particular person that he would just happen to bless and wouldn't bless anybody else. As great as he's been in my family, I know he can do that for anybody else. So wherever you're at in your life, if you're feeling like you want to pivot in some way or fashion, seek God. God and that faith and therapy combo gonna hit every time, sis. And that is why in the work that I do on the internet, offline, online, wherever, I combine the elements of therapy, but I make sure that it is rooted and it is on biblical principles in everything that I do. So that is the story of how me and my husband were about to get a divorce, but now we're not. So let me know what y'all think, though. Has anybody else ever been through anything like this? Because I'm interested in hearing how many other people were on the brink of divorce but then decided, oh, no, I'm not. Or how many people, did leave their marriages, did leave their relationships, but their life got better. Or they left their relationships and ended up getting back with their ex and God restored that relationship. I want to hear your experience in the comments. So until next time, y'all.